Welcome to Behind the Press. Today I have Christiana with me from Planet Direct Mail. How is it that you've seen the print industry evolve over the last few years?
For me, the biggest conduit of change that I've seen is COVID. I think seeing how the industry has navigated paper shortages, staffing issues, just the overall crisis that created. The resilience that I have seen come out of the end of that has been a much more collaborative environment. So to me, seeing a much more collaborative environment with people I work with internally, with my clients, with our different partners that we work with. I feel like it's become a very results driven
Mhm.
sort of path because before I felt like everybody was get it done, get it done, get it done, and now it's like we're taking a step back to say what is the best way to get this done, what is the best way to fill this need for our clients, for our partners, for the organizations that we represent. And I really feel like that came because the industry just got completely turned upside down during the COVID process, like many industries, really. So I think that was the biggest change overall.
Can you give an example of something that maybe you guys changed internally with your business as a result of COVID that maybe you still continue with today?
Yes, well, actually for us, we one of our biggest things that we did during COVID was we actually built our building that we're in now. So we actually took advantage of the time, and it was not an easy time to go into that, but we decided to expand our footprint to 115,000 square feet and move everything back in under one roof because it was much easier. We'd been going back and forth between two different facilities, and we took the opportunity to go ahead and grow and expand. And that definitely could have been more of a risk. But for us, it's definitely been a major win. And the fact we were able to go through that during peak COVID, broke ground, moved the whole 9 yards during a lot of those shutdowns was really, I feel like it attests to the strength of our organization
I
as a
love
whole.
that. High risk, high reward.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So, what role do you think that print plays in today's marketing landscape, especially with the rise of, digital media being play?
I think we're getting inundated with digital media to the point that we're almost numb to it. I know, just speaking for myself, I do look at marketing pieces a little differently, I think, than the average consumer. Um, Coming from a marketing perspective. But for me, I think that the biggest change has been um, mail stands out now. Like, everyone seems to have been cutting their mailing budgets back. But I mean, even we're looking at some of the results from the previous election where direct mail had cut back in some areas and in some different directions. So I'm seeing now the validity of direct mail. I think it's coming back. I think printing is starting to have a little bit more of a resurgence, but I also think that it's due to higher personalization. So I think, the digital printing aspect is allowing companies to have a more robust marketing plan and focus more on the content and not necessarily the quantity. So they're heavily doing heavy personalization, heavy color personalization, color variables. There's a lot more options available with those types of capabilities for marketing to be more diverse and go to a location that is actually not getting a lot of love these days, but everybody's looking at their mailbox. And I think you have a better chance of responding to different things based on what you're looking at your mail. So
Great. As somebody that is a big believer in technologies being, complementary to direct mail, you do have to look at, how there's less real estate, of course, in the mailbox. You go out there's average of, 10 pieces that message is, really sticking there. So I know you mentioned personalization. What do you guys do specifically to, in regards to personalization to increase the engagement and the response rates for your clients' direct mail?
we like to make suggestions. We have four color digital web printing. We also have standard digital printing as well with that is black and that sort of thing. So for us, we're using those capabilities to give our clients more options to do more variables, do more packaging, do more testing overall. So because we're strictly on the mail shop side, really what we do on the print and mail side is help our clients find better ways to do their mail. So we're not trying to redo strategy. We're just trying to complement the strategy and enhance the strategy that they're already working through themselves.
So, are you seeing an increase in demand for sustainable packaging or printing materials, particularly with direct mail?
Yes, yes, I think that has always been a major important piece of environmental fundraising and also animal awareness, that sort animal welfare, those types of organizations have always had a very strong pull for sustainability. But even now, the post office has added incentives that help encourage sustainability, and they're actually giving discounts through some incentive add-ons for sustainability and for using certified materials that can, that are better for the environment and better for production, that kind of thing.
Do you have any specific examples of what those discounts are or different options there for anybody that maybe is curious? With
Yes, yes, absolutely. The incentive programs are actually really robust for 2025 with the USPS. And in this case, the sustainability piece is a 1% incentive on top of one of the others. So the mailing has to already be approved for either integrated marketing or tactile. There are several different versions that it has to be a part of already and approved for. But if it is using certain inks or stock, it can get that additional 1% off the initial 3 or 4%, depending on what incentive program they're participating in. So having the sustainable packaging will give a better incentive on top of an incentive that they've already applied for.
Yes, and it always helps. We love to stack those together.
Absolutely.
So, how has automation impacted the workflow and cost efficiency of direct mail production for you guys?
I think for us specifically, we've built a lot of proprietary automations to help us stay in front of our clients, help us stay quickly responsive. If there is a project that's running, a lot of the automations we've put in place have made it so that our personnel do not have to leave their desk. They can see how much a job is running, how well it's running. If there are any issues with the job, it's able to be corrected in real time and not on the back end. It literally can be corrected while it is running. So if there's any sort of like jams, things like that, a lot of our automations are prepared to actually catch those sort of things to actually do that. So a lot of our internal automations that we've created have made us a much more efficient mailer for our clients and for our company as a whole.
So, just piggybacking on that, I am curious your thoughts on how you think that artificial intelligence is going to play a role in direct mail. I know it's, emerging pretty heavily here.
Yes.
So, do you guys have any plans to use AI towards, direct mail or production, or just if you don't have any plans in place, I am curious just where you see it, kind of being a fit within the print industry.
I see it as a fit. I mean, obviously, I've already seen certain organizations starting to utilize it for their marketing copy. So indirectly, it does affect us. Indirectly, it is something that is passing through our doors all the time. I think overall automations and different production tools that can be created and improved by AI. I do see us going more in that direction though, because I'm seeing how those AI automations are helping me with my marketing initiatives, my development initiatives, different sales activities, that sort of thing. But overall, I think with direct mail specifically, I think it's more coming across in the copy and the automation side. So we're ready for it. We're already seeing it. And it's more of a you have to embrace to understand, in my opinion. So I feel in this case, it's just a matter of us learning and continuing to stay current with the different trends that we're seeing and also, trying to be ahead of some of them as well and utilize some things through our automations to hopefully keep us at the forefront of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an ever-changing environment. You definitely want to, stay with the innovations for sure.
I consider it more of an opportunity, to be honest. The challenges tend to be more in the realm of obviously with actual production. But those are things we have camera matching systems on all of our inserting equipment. We also have camera quality checks on our bindery equipment. So for us, those if it's something that is high match, high touch, that kind of thing, we've got equipment and capabilities in place to catch and track as it goes through the production stream. So for us, it's more of if it is a multi-match, if it's, a package that's got 4+ different matches within it, that's something that we excel at because we've got all of the different automations in addition to an actual individual QC team as well.
Okay. And I know you mentioned obviously that's important for, customers to be able to track and everything like that. How do you currently track the return on investment of a direct mail campaign and what should clients be focused on?
For us, it's not something we track internally with our clients. I mean, for us, what we see if we see a package that continues to come back to us and continue testing and they continue using it, like a solid control package, that's kind of our own metric of, okay, this package is clearly doing well, and we'll file that away if it's something that works. But overall tracking is not necessarily a service we provide our clients beyond tracking the actual mail piece. But if you're not tracking, obviously, you're only as good as you're tracking as far as the actual marketing
Right.
campaign is
Make sure
concerned.
it gets there.
Exactly. Our goal is to get it there, get it there
So
correctly.
if a client were new to direct mail, is there any kind of advice or any suggestions that you would make to them to be able to navigate that kind of process? Like if someone is not currently mailing, but they're looking to add that as their marketing strategy, do you have any kind of thoughts or insight to them that you would maybe give them to guide them to start in that space?
I personally love those. I love getting someone that is new to the space. I've worked with quite a few people from different organizations across my whole career, and I think some of the best ways to plug in is get involved in some of the organizations that are different associations. Like I'm involved with the Direct Marketing Association of Washington, Direct Marketing Fundraisers Association, finding associations that kind of can align with your values and provide training and networking, and in some cases, mentorship. So for me, one of the first things I would do, that's one of the first things I did in my career almost 20 years ago, was, align myself with some different individuals within the industry. Even if they weren't necessarily doing exactly what I was doing, I started to understand the climate. I started to understand how the overall process works, and I was able to take that and grow from there. But I definitely would encourage an involvement in one of the organizations like that are on the larger scale, so you can actually take some of their classes and network with some of the different mentors that are in leadership there.
How long have you been in the printing industry?
I said almost 20, but I think it's over 20 now.
Okay.
So
Is that where you
I'm a
started at, or did you start in something else?
funny story. I actually started making cold calls for a mail shop
Okay.
20 years ago. And
Fun job.
yeah, it was literally cold calls to set appointments for potential clients for a mail shop. And I ended up working for that mail shop directly. And then it kind of went from there. And it's not like it was an intention. It was literally, I kind of had the joke that I tripped and fell and landed in direct mail. And now I'm here. And 20 years later, I'm like, oh wow, I tripped and fell into a career. This is great. But yeah, over time, I enjoy production. I enjoy marketing. I love working for causes that I personally value. So this gives me an opportunity to help and support some of those causes in a more corporate environment, but I still feel like I've got a hand in that sort of marketing. And to me, that definitely is why I've been in it this long, is the overall, it's an impact organization. It's an impact industry. And that's my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am curious too. We are, of course, in a primarily male-dominated industry. What do you feel are, challenges, benefits to that of being a female in that environment? And do you have any kind of insights, just your personal opinion? Do you think that that's going to shift? Obviously the landscape of the print industry is, ever changing. Do you think that that dynamic is going to change, or kind of how do you see that?
I'm seeing it shift. When I started, it was very heavily male dominated at that point, and I feel like the major there were women in leadership and that type of thing in these organizations, but for the most part, I feel like a lot of the women were on the side of production or client services and different things like that. And I think through that, and as we've all kind of evolved in our careers, we're in the phase now where getting leadership roles and we're asking for those roles. And I think this is the time for, women to ask, like, yes, it's a male dominated industry, but I see it flipping, and not necessarily flipping, but I see it becoming more of a collaborative industry. And I feel like it is a more collaborative industry now than it was when I started 20 years ago. And I really, I like that. It's definitely, I kind of caught myself the other day saying, oh yeah, it can feel like a boys club sometimes. Well, yeah, but also, be the change, I love opportunities to mentor other young women and other women that are not even necessarily young, but women that are in like starting in this industry and wanting something different and, doing career shifts, things like that. And, there's plenty of room at the table. We just need to know where the table is, or build the table.
That too. And just kind of going off on that too, I speak with several print providers that say sometimes it's challenging for them to, find new employees or people that are younger. And, myself being a bit younger, I didn't really have any knowledge to the print industry. I have a technology background and then kind of fell into it a little bit too. And it's such an expansive industry and it's very interesting to me. But, when you go to school programs and things, it's not really so widely prominent that, it's even available as an option. So, as a print company, if you're wanting to attract, the younger generation to, kind of take on those roles and be able to understand, why print is so valuable and how it does make that impact. Do you have any kind of advice or do you guys do anything internally to attract, a younger audience and try to, educate them on the industry and the options that they do have available to them as careers?
I think honestly, in the interview process, when we're looking for different roles, in that we have a wide range of ages and demographics that do apply for these roles. And one of my coworkers here, the colleagues that we've worked closely together for many years, uh, we try our best to communicate the options. Like this really can be a career. We're 20 plus years in, and this has been a consistent way that we've, supported our families. There's been room to grow. There's opportunities, I think, because there is, the industry is kind of shaking itself out in a little bit of a weird way right now. There are more opportunities. There's so much technology leverage now that you really can move around. Like, if let's say you're in customer service, but you're starting to really get into the data side and you want to learn more about that, there are excellent educational tracks you can take to learn these other sides of the industry. And at the end of it, you become a very diverse individual with several different skills that are marketable in this industry, and I mean even others. But our goal is to really show the benefit of the growth and what we've seen in this industry, because there is the overarching term of, oh, print is dead. And I hate saying that. Like, I hate saying that, or
I hate that too.
I hate that. And I hate saying that. And I also, hearing like, I don't even like calling direct mail junk mail, because to me, it pays my bills. So, like, I'm not going to call something that supports my family junk. So for me, it's marketing. And
Right.
I love the dynamics there of being a part of marketing structure and marketing planning. And I think walking that talk, and just like, even when we get someone in here that doesn't necessarily have a background and is showing that it's a career and not just a job, and really walking that, they see myself that, like, not I'm not young, but I'm not exactly in the twilight of my career either. But for me, being able to show somebody that has been in this industry for a decent amount of time, that started and has the growth trajectory and can actually show how I have grown and how I've developed within the industry and within different organizations up till now. Um, I'm an example of it. So I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
how you
just
mentioned about, being mentor and things like that,
yeah,
of course.
exactly. And there's such a value to the mentorship piece. And I feel like even if you're not a direct mentor, having that attitude of mentoring, respectfully mentoring those around you and bringing people with you, be excited. And it's not even like a faking it thing either. It's like I genuinely like what I do for a living. I love what I do.
I
So
love that.
I think, and I feel like having that attitude and that can also help, if someone sees that when they're coming in, I think that's also important.
Yeah, of course. All right. So, what do you feel are the biggest challenges that you're facing today as a printer in the current state of the market?
For us, really, the market is shifting a lot. So I feel like prices are driving down and staffing costs are rising up. So it's, there is the balance, there are those balances that we're encountering, in a lot of cases, it's you've got to be the best across the board, but you got to have the best price to be at the table.
Right.
And so for us, it's navigating, the shifts in the market and, weathering that. We're coming off an election season that was very strange. And I feel like a lot of other organizations that are in our same industry can say that it's been a weird year. Can't say good, can't say bad, but it's been a very weird year that is not exactly like we've seen before. So it's really navigating the differences and modifying your plan moving forward, saying, okay, this was weird. What's working, what's not working? Let's keep moving, let's keep trying, let's keep going after some of the newer innovations, newer capabilities. Let's really tune in and take the time to hear or to listen to what our clients are looking for and to listen to what the industry is doing as a whole so we're ready with those changes.
Now, I know it's kind of a controversial topic, but I do want to ask about, USPS. We obviously know they are in a deficit. But there are also several conversations about different innovations that they're talking about, putting in place things like, electric vehicles or not having, delivery drivers when they're dropping off mail, not taking an empty truck back. That should save lots of money, things like that. So I'm just kind of curious how you see that. And, there are different initiatives and the different changes that are taking place. I know obviously we have some postal discounts that can maybe offset some of that, but I am curious how you see that going, or if you don't know, but your thoughts on that.
Personally, my thoughts are I think I think some decisions were made that resulted in more discomfort than the post office or the USPS was expecting. And as a result, mail volumes are down. And, they've continued to, try and find other ways to bolster package shipping and everything that I feel like the the marketing mail has fallen by the wayside, unfortunately. And I feel like they need while the incentives are fantastic, um, I think more thought should have been, I personally think more thought should have been put into the strategy of raising the price twice a year, every year for 10 years. We're halfway through that, and we got the good news that prices were not going to increase in January for the main sects of mail that we support. But what's going to happen in July? What's going to happen when the next schedule increase happens? And um, for me, I have been disappointed by some of the things I have seen, and I think that has pushed a lot of people to mail um, less than they were, which I understand that it's putting more focus on digital capabilities. So I feel like the silver lining is we're learning to pivot, and we're learning to pivot for our clients and for our organizations that need some different options and that sort of thing to move forward. So it's complicated. I can't say that I'm happy with decisions that were made, and I cannot say that I am surprised, and I cannot say that I am upset. I literally am neutral and trying to remain optimistic to an extent.
I hear you, and just take that, next step there. With mail volumes, seeing a decline because of the price increases, obviously we know that direct mail is extremely impactful and still a very important marketing channel, if not one of the strongest. So how do you kind of convey that to customers or push back on that? How do you overcome their objection to their cost going up, knowing that typically direct mail is still making a very lasting impact and a stronger impact than, like you said, ads, being inundated with that. How do you combat that price increase to make them still know that, direct mail is going to bring back that high return on investment for them with their, marketing?
I think it's important to have access to the numbers. And there are some excellent reporting. There's been some excellent reporting on this for a while now that I think I've been able to have handy if I've had some pushback on some different programs or different things. Oh, we don't really think it's a valid point. We're focusing on email right now. It's like, okay, well, I understand that. Let me send you some more information. These are some of the metrics that we're seeing across the board regarding return on investment, that kind of thing for direct email. So I feel having the numbers and having different reports available is very important. Even basic Pew Research data has quite a few different metrics on it that's positive in the direct mail sense. So I feel like having your answers ready, having your metrics ready to present to your clients is very important.
Now, and you mentioned needing to pivot, and it gives you the opportunity to, provide different services to your clients. How do you feel that technology is playing a role in the printing space? And, what do you think about that digital advertising in complementary to the direct mail?
I think it's like I think it's a family. The whole thing works when it's working together. So for me, I think it is just as valid of a piece. It just needs to collaborate. It needs to be cohesive. It needs to be memorable. And I don't think you should have just one channel. Like obviously I'm a direct mail champion. I'm all yay direct mail, but I also have to acknowledge the value of having a successful omni-channel campaign and the importance of having the digital side as well as the direct mail side. So for me, it's definitely having the pieces cohesive and working together. And we do not provide any of the services in that space with the digital space. However, we work closely with organizations that use it in everything. So for us, it's just as important to make sure those pieces and those collaborative pieces are matching for them, are coordinated properly, have proper PMS color, all the whole 9 years, making sure everything is a cohesive package for them. Because it's even a lot of times when I'll even get a direct mail piece, I will have been already seeing emails come through, or I've been getting ads for it or for different things online, banner ads, that kind of thing. And it's really, to me, I think it's really cool when I get something in the mailbox. I'm like, oh, this works. This is cool. Look, it matches. Like I think it's fascinating the way they work together.
Yeah, and that's, something that I feel is especially important because, when you get that mail piece and you've seen those advertisements, that brand starts to be viewed as a trusted source and you recognize it when you get it in the
Absolutely.
mailbox. So it all cohesive together. It is, very helpful for sure. So how do you guys plan to stay ahead of competition in the industry for 2025? Do you have any big exciting plans?
For us, we're just going to continue doing what we do, and we're going to continue, working through. Like I said, we've significantly increased our digital capabilities, and we've gotten that off the ground, and we're going full speed ahead to be a significant digital printing resource for our clients in their different mail programs. So for us, it's working with the capabilities that we put in over the past year and really growing and bolstering those existing
Consistency you
capabilities.
mentioned.
Yes, exactly.
So, with that being said, do you have any exciting projects that you have coming up or that you've worked on this year that you're, proud of that you guys have accomplished?
For us, we've really increased our automations and our different processes in that and have made efficiencies have been just the biggest, I think the biggest win for us. So it's not something that you necessarily see in the mailbox, but we feel it. And with seeing these different efficiencies and seeing how much better and how much stronger we're working through different projects, it's allowing us to really grow. I mean, one of the biggest things that we've really taken off with this past year was membership card affixing and also personalization as well, inline personalization. And being able to add that resource for our client base has been huge. So like we've doubled our capacity in that area, and that's one that we're continuing to grow, and we're continuing to even work with people, different organizations to add a member card program and to add different pieces to this element. So it's one that I think had kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit with the supply shortages and supply chain issues and that sort of thing. With that having a resurgence and with our response to it by having more available equipment and more capabilities in that area to provide it as a affordable and a competitively priced resource for our clients has been fantastic. So I'm excited to see our membership card side continue to grow over the next year because I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish in that area.
Great. Is there really anything else that you'd like to share about the direction of printing or direct mail that you think that businesses should know?
Be open-minded and don't be afraid to ask for the weird. Ask for the weird thing because I feel like
What's the weird thing?
I just if it's something that doesn't quite make sense to mail or to produce or print, ask. Just ask. You just never know. A lot of times I'll see some different different stamping denominations. I still get questions about that. Different things that are available. And if don't be afraid to ask like what is something that you see that you've seen is really cool that we can add to our package. Asking questions like that's really cool because you can rely on a mailer. It's like, yeah, this is something we've done. This works really well. And if you want to give it a shot, here's the cost for it, whatever. So ask for the funky packages. Ask for the weird handwriting fonts that are still readable. Uh, don't be afraid to go back to the basics too. There's a reason the core direct mail pieces and structure still works and is still valid there, but there are always ways that you can make it stick out more just based on the developing technology. So for me, just ask. Like asking is kind of my biggest thing. If you get pushback, ask why.
Are you guys doing anything cool with, obviously there's different, inks and different things you can use like that, but augmented reality, are you guys doing any of those kind of innovations onto your printing?
We have the functionality that we can do, the QR codes that can do, the casting, that kind of thing. So, we've got the programming that allows for that. We haven't, I think we've only done a couple packages over the last year that have included it, but it really is all comes down to programming. We're set up to do it. I don't think as many people have been taking advantage of it until I think we're going to see a huge push with the way the discounts are going next year. So I think the way that that's one of the only ways to get some of those incentives, I think that we're going to see a huge push in that. So we're ready for it. We're ready to do the coding that needs to be done for it and that kind of thing.
So I guess finally, with all these changes that are going on in the industry, do you see direct mail, making that growth still with everything that, is going on? I see, so many different innovations that there's a lot of opportunity. Do you see it in that same way?
I do. I do. I see a lot, especially with the digital capabilities. I see a lot of possibility. I see a lot more creativity. I think there are a lot more options available now for someone to be creative, but on a budget. So I feel like having affordable options within these creative capabilities are allowing us to remain relevant and not only continue our current trajectory, but to continue growing the industry as well. Always happy to answer questions or chat with people. Always, looking to show people our plant that's shiny and new, and I love that. So,
Nice
I'm
little
always
tour.
happy to connect. Exactly, exactly. Thank you again for the opportunity. It's been great chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you.